Our next reader is Juliana Gray, and I'm going to introduce her now. When Juliana was a girl growing up in Alabama, her family used to vacation at Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Her mom made her wear dorky t-shirts over her swimsuit so she wouldn't get sunburned, but she still managed to go home with scarlet skin and sun-bleached hair. One time, she stepped on a jellyfish and got stung. Now she writes poetry. Her most recent book, Role Play, won the 2010 Orphic Prize and was published last year by Dream Horse Press. She teaches at Alfred University in Western New York, where she hardly ever gets sunburned and her hair remains brown year-round. Please welcome Juliana Gray.
Oh. Thank you. Oh my God, I didn't know I'd have to hold this. I feel like I should throw it down. Thanks for coming. I'm here because my friend Erica Dawson knows Jared and recommended me. And Erica apologizes for not being able to be here today. She's very sick. She came down with the AW apocalypse. She's in her room drinking Pedialyte. Yeah, I'm not kidding. So I want to start with a poem by Erica Dawson, who should be here. And for me to read a poem by Erica that I've never read before, first of all, I apologize for probably screwing it up. But imagine that I am a gorgeous, elegant, 6-foot-tall African-American woman. You got it? Yeah. Okay. So this is Erica's poem called Layover. I'm going to try to read like Erica, but I'm not sexy enough. Layover. I've half a mind to make a move. I stayed in Archer City, where I made Larry McMurtry proud by downing one too many shots of ice-cold vodka, tumbler-sized, then yelping all alone to Sweet Home, Alabama, while the band reprised Knockin' on Heaven's Door, packed up, and quit the Legion dance. I thought I didn't know that song. Again, I'm a 6-foot-tall African-American woman. I two-stepped with a cowboy, kissed a Yankee, wrong, regretted it, and found my cowboy once again, the Yankee looking like a young Paul Newman, and the cowboy like I'll bed you hard, hot and hard in jeans. Was it the Texas air that brought out the Delilah in me? Was it the quail and the wild hogs, the memorial on the courthouse lawn? The barbecue cooked from a cow with that tasted like a slaughtered cow? What hiked my temperature? It climbed the diving board and took its clothes off piece by piece as if last May were my last picture show. Last chance to sweat with strangers in a spur hotel room, quaint with double beds and Byron on the table. Me as Sybil Shepherd, starring in her first movie as J.C. Farrow, walking in beauty like a night too much for such a little place where the town Indian said she was the town Indian. And my sweet cowboy said I gave him eyes, said I was high-heeled trouble, said I have the tendency to lead. That's Erica. And now I'm going to be a huge disappointment. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to read a couple poems. I'll keep this brief. Thank you for coming. I'll thank you by keeping it brief. Am I doing this wrong, Jared? Okay. I'm going to read a poem that Erica actually published in the Tampa Review, the lovely Tampa Review in Florida. And this is, it sounds like it's going to be a super bummer. It's a poem called Suicide. And I think the epigraph explains the given of this pretty well. A psychologist named James Kaufman did a study of correlating mental illness, such as depression and suicide attempts, by occupation. So he broke it down and he determined that artists are especially prone to such things. And among artists, who are the worst? Writers. Among writers, who are the worst? Poets. Among poets, who are the worst? Women. So if you are a female poet, you probably have some kind of medicated condition. if you are a male travel writer, you're probably fine. Bill Bryson's loving his life. He's having a great time. But this guy, Kaufman, published the results of his study, and he called this tendency for female poets to be very depressed and suicidal. He called it the Sylvia Plath effect, of course. So that's the lengthy epigraph to this poem, which is called Suicide. Such a lovely word we mustn't use. Already, friends are keeping an eye on us. They call on weekends or when they haven't heard from us in a while, just to check in. Our co-workers are wary. If we crack a few too many Plath jokes, we find ourselves in mandatory counseling. And Mom, who never trusted poetry, sighs and sets another roll upon our plates. We'd like to ask each other, take a poll. How often do you think about it? Weekly? Every day? Every fulsome night? We want to find out what's normal, but we know we're not the right ones to ask. Studies blame the solipsistic I. Too much introspection fucks us up. I disagree. If poets are in love with language, then how could we not be seduced by suicide? Those silky vowel glides, the sideways glance, all sibilants and curves. It makes me think of a slinky red dress. That color has always looked good on me. Oh, God. Oh. You're clapping for suicide, you realize. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, this is my third and last. And thanks again for coming. This is one of those where the title goes into the first line, so you have to read them all together. The title of the poem is Phone Sex. Okay? So, phone sex is not the subject of this poem. I wrote that at the top so you would start to read, thinking you would be a little hurt at first, but then get interested in what I have to say about the issues, about art and love, most likely death. I hope you don't feel tricked, but please don't scan your eyes along these lines in hopes that phone sex will recur. Don't look for heavy breathing here. Don't think about what the hand, the other one that doesn't hold the phone, is doing. There's just no way I'm going to write about the voice that whispers some scenario, some fantasy about a hammock, a girl with Angelina lips, and a pitcher of iced lemonade from which she's just removed a cube and drawn it slowly like a balm into her ruby mouth as she approaches you. Reader, put that notion right out of your head. Frankly, it's embarrassing. I'm talking about art or death. So listen, I'll describe it. Stay on the line. I'm almost there. Thank you.
Fantastic.